What's up, guys, and welcome back to another video. I'm Bandit Barney, bringing you everything you need to know about Red Dead 2 and Red Dead Online. Rockstar, please. Okay, now that we have that out of the way, as well as you should be begging Rockstar for more content. In the meantime, we're bringing you guys a guide to hunting different gang hideouts, a really efficient one where you can capitalize on a few other things along the way. I would have titled this video Good Treasure Map Guide, but the reality is that I'm just so unlucky when it comes to getting treasure maps off gang hideouts. I couldn't, in all good conscience, make this a treasure map guide. If you're someone who is really lucky with gang hideouts and treasure maps, this is going to be the best way to get those treasure maps for you. Otherwise, it's going to be an effective way for you to hunt gang hideouts, get that achievement, as well as take care of a few other things along the way. I want to thank our Discord members for bringing me recently a few tips on Red Dead Online. Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate you. If you want to be a part of that, hit the link down below and head over there. We got LFGs for Xbox, PS4, and a lot of good information. Without further ado, let's dive into the guide itself, though. One thing I want to note, when you do go hunting gang hideouts, is you want to start in a lobby away from where you're going to be. In this case, we're going to be around the Tumbleweed Armadillo area. So you're going to want to spawn into Lemoyne, fast travel to Tumbleweed. And if you actually open up your player menu and then go to online options, you can turn, I think it's like social matchmaking off. Do that. Essentially what that is this is something that RBM 573 told me, is that what that does is it makes it so that other players won't spawn in near you. The mechanic and the reason why we like spawning into Lemoyne and then traveling to Tumbleweed is because the way the game's set up, we're going to spawn in next to other players. You can turn that off for yourself so that other players won't spawn in on you. It's a good way to have an area to yourself for a lot longer. So make sure you do that. Open up player menu, online options, social matchmaking, turn that off. That's something that it doesn't stay, so you're gonna have to do that each time you spawn into Red Dead Online. So we're gonna go to Tumbleweed, and then what you wanna do is get yourself a pronghorn deer carcass on your horse. This is something that's gone around on YouTube a week or two ago. It helps with the gang hideout spawns when you get that. So go grab your pronghorn. All you gotta do is go a little bit north of Tumbleweed and get that pronghorn. They spawn all over that area. Just go north, and if you need to, a little bit northeast, grab that. And then what you want to do is you want to head over to here. There's a little cave where a gang hideout can spawn. Head over there, and we're going to kind of do a big circle rotation that's going to take us right to the west side of Armadillo, and we can keep doing it. It's not one of those runs where you have to run it and then spawn in a new lobby and run it again. This is something that's going to work just as effective for you every single time, because it's a big rotation. A key to getting these gang hideouts to spawn, okay? Because there's a few glitchy things that happen with them, right? A few different things happen. You'll notice that sometimes you'll run up to a gang hideout, and on your mini-map, you'll see the gang hideout blip spawn in and then spawn away. And you'll get there and there won't be a gang hideout. One thing you can do to improve your chances of getting your gang hideout to spawn is, as you're riding to the hideout, turn your camera so it's facing the face of your character, and basically essentially you're looking behind where your horse just came from. So turn your camera around so that your character's still heading to the hideout, but you're looking away from it. This will increase the chance of the hideout spawning. One of the theories is from a few of our Discord members, is that the hideouts will spawn in, but they don't actually have the game doesn't have the server capacity to put all the characters in place quick enough. And if you're looking at the hideout, it'll decide to just take the spawn out. So that's when you'll see the blip pop up and off on your minimap. So if you look away as you're riding the hideout, you'll increase your chances of that hideout actually spawning. As well as slow down. When you're riding the hideouts, slow down. It'll just give a little bit more time for the characters to spawn in. You don't want to be bursting through these hideouts. Chances are they're not going to spawn as often if that's something that you're doing. So those are two tips that higher level members on the Discord, people with much more experience in Red Dead Online than myself, have told me of. So we tested that out and it worked out pretty well. Once you go to that little cave there off to the northwest of Tumbleweed, go south, and this is a hideout that a lot of us know of. It's the mining hideout. Go there and take care of that one. That mining hideout's a little bit of a bigger one. Just be careful, you get flanked around at a few different areas. Now, not hideout related, but this is what's good about this route, is that you're going to maximize your efficiency. There's condors along the west side of Tumbleweed here. Keep your eyes peeled for those, especially when you stop by the mining area. There can be a condor spawn there. Take yourself south now, a little bit east, and we're going to go to that steelhead trout spawn that is right by that small cabin there. So you're going to go there. What you want to do is stand in the bushes and face the cliffside away from the house. Face the opposite side away from the house. And then just like I talked about how we turn the camera around, you're going to turn the camera around so your character's facing the cliff, but your camera's looking at the house. And this is how you're going to get those steelhead trout to spawn in. Take a minute or two here. After 2 minutes, most of the time, the trout will spawn in. And you can get anywhere between 3 and 6 trout there. Gather those up, because if you do this route twice times through, you're gonna have a full stack of trout, and that's $25. So get those trout, and then we'll move on. You're just gonna head straight east over to the possible hideout spawn over here. Once you do that, there's not a road that takes you through this way, but if you head straight east, you can get up over one of the cliffs here, and this will save you some time going to our next hideout, which is an unnamed location. Gang hideout will spawn in the rocks and cliff area here. So you're going to stop by over there, roll past that, and then keep going east over to Fort Mercer. Now, with the forts and building areas, right, in most hideouts, if they're spawning in, you're going to see the smoke come up. If you see the smoke come up, make sure to do everything you can to get that hideout to stay, right? So if you see the smoke up, it's a good idea to start heading there. Don't leave it, because if you leave it, there's a chance that gang hideout will despawn. So let's say you're running this route and you see the smoke spout of a hideout that's maybe 1 or 2 ahead of where you're going to be. It might be worth it to just skip ahead and go to that hideout and hit it before it disappears. When I ran this route twice with one of our Discord members, and we ended up having 2 or 3 of these hideouts. The smokestacks would come up and then they disappeared. So keep a keen eye out. You can maximize your efficiency if you're hitting the smokestacks when they appear. Now at Fort Mercer, then what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to head back west. Oh, sorry about that. You're going to need to head back west so you can avoid the cliff area, and then head onto the train tracks and just ride those train tracks all the way towards Armadillo. There's an ambush in this area, so once you get to almost near Armadillo, you're going to head straight north, and that ambush might hit you. Then you're going to go to Twin Rocks all the way at the top. This is our northernmost gang hideout on this route, and it's also what begins our side of where we can get cougars along this route. So this nice thing, you can be focusing on condors. Also, I forgot to mention, the hideout west of Fort Mercer and Fort Mercer itself, there's an owl spawn there. You're also going to be riding around and you see some vultures in the air. So when we get up north, though, we're going to be looking for cougars. There's multiple cougar spawns along this route. Hit Twin Rocks. If there's nothing there, go ahead and move on. And where Otis Miller's treasure is in the story mode is another gang hideout spawn. That's going to be the last one. I think that makes up 8 possible for us. So that's the last possible spawn there by Otis Miller in the route. But right after Otis Miller, you're going to come over a ridge, and over that ridge is where you're going to start seeing the cougars spawn. Right above Chola area, the Chola Springs, right above the Chola name, is where you're going to start seeing those cougars spawn. Just ride around a little bit there. Every single time I've done this route, and every single time we get a cougar. Every single time. Once we got 2 cougars back to back right next to each other. You should always come across a cougar when you run this route, which is something that's really nice about this, is that you get a perfect cougar. That's what, 17 bucks there, and you're just adding on to possible treasure maps that you're getting if you're luckier than me. But if you have the same luck as me, you're doing these gang hideouts to get your achievement done, and other than that, you're just saying, hey, if you get a treasure map, you're like, all right, thanks, the Tooth Fairy stopped by. Not gonna happen again. Not gonna happen again. So get those 2 cougars there. Now, I generally like riding around with the cougar on my back. I don't think the type of carcass changes the number of gang hideouts that spawn, so you're not gonna see a difference. But obviously you want to have a cougar on your horse rather than a pronghorn deer, because for some reason pronghorn deer are like the worst deer to get in the game. Then that's gonna take you through the whole route. As you run it more often, you're gonna get a better eye for it, and it's going to become much easier. It took me running it twice with RBM to get it down, and then I could just do it without looking at the map. Something that he mentioned, and I haven't tested this out for myself, but he's like level 120, and so he's got much more experience than I do. If you're setting waypoints, don't set the waypoint directly on where the hideout's gonna be. Set it like somewhere near that area. One of his theories is that if you set a waypoint directly on hideouts, the chances are that the game is like recognizing you're heading directly there, and the hideout doesn't have a high chance to spawn. This could fall in line with the theory that hideouts spawn more often when you're hunting, so that's why we put a carcass on our horse, because hideouts are spawning more often when they're there to almost like, I don't want to, interrupt isn't the right word, but hideouts spawn more often when you're not looking for them than when you're looking for them, type of thing, and that's why the carcass helps. So when you're running around, if you're just starting out, put markers down maybe on the map, but I wouldn't set waypoints down, because waypoints in theory have a chance of, or lower the chance of those gang hideouts spawning. So those three things: the carcass, not setting the waypoint, and then also riding in slow when you get towards the hideout, giving it a chance to spawn, and looking over your back and then looking back at the camp. I do that generally 2 to 3 times every single time I run to a hideout. Look behind me and then look towards where I'm going, look behind me, look towards where I'm going, trying to get that gang hideout to spawn. It's almost like giving yourself 2 chances for that hideout to spawn when you do that. Do those 3 things. Hopefully your gang hideout hunting goes really, really well. I hope that you get a better treasure map spawn rate than I do. I still have only found 1 treasure map from all the gang hideouts I've done. So if you have better luck, good for you. You Thank you guys for the recent support on the channel. Really, really appreciate it. Everyone who's been a part of the Discord. We did, I think actually the video we just went out yesterday, forcing griefers to apologize, and we got Discord members to help in with that. I had a blast filming that with you. So if you're a part of that video, thank you for being a part of it. And if you're a part of the Discord, I hope to get you in some of that future content. We're also gonna do a fight club here soon. So if you want to be a part of that, make sure you're in the Discord, because that's where all the information about that is gonna go down, as well as if you just need some helpful tips or other players to play with. Sub to the channel if you're not subbed already. That's my spiel. Appreciate you. The support has been amazing. I hope to see you in a future video, and until then, take care.